haven't said a word and people are already applauding you. There we go. Okay, good night everybody. Good night everybody. Melanie is a very, very good friend of mine. She's also a real estate investor. She has experience in real estate. She's an insurance broker. So I'm going to try not to mess this thing up. She's an insurance broker, and she's come up with an interesting strategy that could work for real estate investors and people in real estate, from what she does for a living and how that relates to real estate, because that's what we do. You know, every month I bring people to the club, and I like, we have mortgage agents, we have lawyers, we have like everybody that I can think of. You know, as long as it relates somehow to real estate, I want them to come and present. I learn a lot, everybody learns a lot, and at the end of the day, you know, if we end up doing business, we do business, but if it's not about doing business, it's about kind of connecting people, connecting dots, learning from each other, and that's how magic happens.
Yep. You did beautifully.
Thank you so much.
You feel like a rock star.
Already, yes.
Bravo for you. Well, thank you so much. It's very nice to meet some of you. Thank you, Todor, for inviting me tonight. I'm very excited because, yes, I have a strategy that is quite simple. So you can put your wallet away. There's nothing to sell here. It's just information. I wanted to start with why I do what I do. And that's my little guy. Whoops. That's my little guy over there. He's my big inspiration. And the reason why I started in financial planning, there's a few reasons. I've been on my own since I'm 16 years old. And I've built myself up, and I keep on building myself up because of people like Todor and Natalia and meeting people like yourself. And starting in my field, I realized that my big passion was really bringing people up, teaching them something, giving them the peace of mind, right? Because financial is one of the hardest things sometimes for people, and it could be a struggle, but if you can show them very simple strategy, everybody can succeed. If I was able to put myself through school, if I was able to buy my first house at 26, then everybody can do it, because I had a minimum wage and I moved here with $50 in my pocket and nothing at all. So my story is nothing exceptional. That's not why I'm sharing it with you, but I think that that's why my passion came through to say, what can I do to make life a little bit easier, right? And make people money with strategies. So that's using other people's money, and especially the insurance company's money, to make yourself more money. And I'll show you the strategy a little bit later on. But also what's essential to me is that you guys work very hard. I can respect that because I've worked hard to build myself up and protect what you've built so hard. So that's it goes along with the strategy I'll share with you. The government has very deep pockets, and not that I don't mind paying taxes. I think we should all pay a minimum tax because there's benefit coming to it. However, I believe in minimizing that. So again, this strategy is really a 3-in-1, which will create you to be happy and be happy, right? So this is for you tonight if you want to preserve your assets and you would like to transfer them into your beneficiary tax-free, okay? If you dislike paying for insurance, I think we can all agree that who really likes paying for insurance? Because you don't really know how it can benefit you, right? That's that simple. And you're currently investing your cash flow that you're making from some of you have real estate properties. You're currently investing your money into the market, and as we all know, the market is a little bit of a turmoil. It's going up and down, and you're not very satisfied with the rate of return and the risk that you have to take in order for you to make some reasonable return, okay? So my goal tonight, again, put your wallet aside. I'll just collect them at the end of the presentation. But really, it's just information. My main goal is if tonight you leave with something that you didn't know before, then that I'll be happy. And again, you hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll see life insurance as an asset and not an expense. Okay? So that's my two main goals. So who has real estate here? Who owns real estate? So a lot of people. So what do you guys do with your cash flow? Do you invest it in the market right now? Is that what you do? Most of you do, right? Are you happy with the rate of return?
No.
No, right? Most of us.
The last few months.
Yeah, that's why I actually gave up my mutual fund license, because I had a hard time sitting across. And there's nothing wrong if there's an investor here who has mutual fund license here. It's just personally, that's why with this strategy I was feeling so strong with this that I couldn't really sit across the table with someone and say, and feel confident to say, invest your money in the market. I couldn't. So that's why I really like this strategy. So here's another way, and don't feel too overwhelmed. Don't know if you can see that. It seems to be a little bit small.
Yeah.
So my apology. But let me just show you how this works, okay? This is an illustration. I did not make the numbers, okay? The insurance company makes the number. The only thing that I ask my illustration software is I determine the contribution, okay? And I picked 30,000, it's $2,500 a month. It can be any numbers. If you tell me I want to contribute $15,000 a year, $5,000 a year, we can customize it. This is based on a male, 40 years old, non-smoker, okay? I'm using a whole life participating life insurance. And why I pause with participating, it's very important because there is non-participating whole life as well out there. Participating means that you become a stakeholder of the insurance company, which the insurance then pays an annual dividend into the product, okay, within their life insurance. So this is key. I also have to say that dividend is not guaranteed. However, insurance company, they're a little bit recession proof. How do they make their money? Well, they make their money on people buying term insurance only, never renewing, they never have to pay the death benefit, and also they invest in mortgages and they invest themselves in real estate, right, and bonds. So their investments are quite conservative in a sense. So most of the time, I feel really, really strongly confident that, and when I look at the history of most insurance companies, they always pay dividends. But I still have to disclose that it's not guaranteed. There is a minimum portion guaranteed in the product, which is indicated here. Okay, this is the cash accumulating in the product that is contractual. It's actually contract. They have. This means that if the insurance company never make 1 penny of profit, they will pay this. Okay? In the last 25 years, the average return on dividend is 8.2%. In 2014, the rate of dividend was 6.8%. And the great news is that the interest rate right now is the lowest it's ever been, which means that once the interest rate starts rising, what is the dividend scale going to do? It's going to go up as well, right? So that's why I feel very positive and confident about this type of strategy. So basically, again, you contribute $30,000 for 20 years only. After 20 years, this plan is paid for. Age 65, you have no more contribution. You see here the nice zero? No more. And this program is good for life. You will own that for life. Like a real estate, right? It acts a little bit, it's very complementary. As I like to call it my real estate portfolio almost, in that sense, right? That is there for life. If you look here, at age 60, you would have over $2 million of, I like to call it life benefit, because death benefit, there's not really much benefit into death. So I like to call it life benefit, just a preference. And then your cash value, you'll have close to $1 million of cash value. Why I like this, if you look at age 67, retirement age, you can use this plan as an insured retirement planning. Okay, you contribute a total of $600,000, okay, over the 20 years. And here's how much cash you will get in your life insurance policy. Over 1.5 million. There's option you have here. Okay, not only you have over 2,737,000 of life benefit. So if something happened in between, your beneficiary will get this amount tax-free. So you just transformed for your loved one a $600,000 investment into a 2.7 million that your beneficiary will get tax-free. So for people who own a lot of properties, we all know that tax at death needs to be paid. That's unfortunate, but capital gain needs to be paid. And again, you work hard to build your portfolio. Why would you want to have so much income tax to pay? So this is a way that this tax can be paid, and the rest goes to your beneficiary. But the main point here is that 1.5 million is your money. You can use it while being alive. You can use this money here to buy more property, because you can borrow against this policy, no problem. Just a simple phone call to the insurance company, you're allowed to borrow 90% of it. And then if you use this money to buy real estate, not only it's your money that you're borrowing against yourself, but it's also tax deductible, because then you're using this cash to buy an investment, right? Or see the dividend. At age 67, the dividend per year is over 50,000. So if you decide to take the dividend as cash that year, you can do that, right? But that will be taxable if you take it as a payment, a cash payment. That's taxable. The way that you can divert the tax is by loaning this policy to a bank as well. You can assign this policy, go to the bank, you assign it to a bank, and then they will give you that money. That is, again, tax-free. Who'd like to have a retirement tax-free?
Yes.
I think we all do, right? Again, at age 80, life expectancy right here, you would have over $4 million of life insurance paid. Again, you paid $600,000 and you get $4 million for your beneficiary, right? It's preserving your estate. Again, that you work very hard. Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt. This 4 million is in today's dollar value or projected?
This is projected. When you're age 80, your life policy, if you don't touch the cash value, then you will have over $4 million for your beneficiary. But this is leveraging, just to show the point that I'm trying to make here is you only pay $600,000. And at life expectancy, you like quadruple, more than quadruple. And that's why insurance is leveraging other people's money. It's like when you have a mortgage, right? You're using the bank to leverage it, right? This is not your money you're using. This is basically the insurance money which becomes yours. Does that make sense? Did I lose you?
No.
Sorry.
What's
That's
the-
different from an annuity.
It's a little similar. An annuity is taxable though. When it proceeds from a life insurance, it bypasses the probate fees. It's tax-free, completely tax-free. And it's,
So if somebody passes away, let's say what
yeah.
happens
If you pass away here and you never touch the cash value, you will get almost $3 million.
How quickly can you access the cash value? Right
It's
away?
just a phone call, yeah.
Or even in the first years?
Really? No, not in the first year. No, again, it's a long-term, that's a great question. Thank you for clarifying. It's a long-term plan here, right? That's why I build it for 40 years old. At age 60, it's paid for. Then after that, it's accessible. You can access it as early as 7 years, but because your premium isn't completely paid, you still have to make those payments, right? Yeah, I just want to make that clear. But, what was I going to say? Once after it's completely paid, then you have access to that cash value.
But is this a specific kind of, like, policy?
This is a whole life participating.
I don't have that.
Yeah, that's a whole life participating.
Can you transfer an existing policy into a whole life policy?
That's a great question. It depends which company you're with. Some companies will have whole life participating. Not every one of them does.
Right, because I've been contributing for 15 years to this policy.
Mhm.
It's not working well for me.
There
It's
you
not
go.
working for me at all. So I want to know if I can transfer, but is that a
Maybe.
phone call away? Or do
No,
I
you
have
need to meet with your advisor.
Okay.
When you meet with me. No, you can meet
I
with your
should,
advisor.
if you can work magic that I don't have to pay anymore, yeah.
Well, we can set up the plan like
Well,
that.
we will just have to get your card.
There you go, my cruise in the back. That's great. One thing that I wanted to mention, if you touch this cash value, you have to deduct it at time of death. You have to deduct it from the life benefit. But exactly,
I'm dead.
it's a win-win. It's a win-win because you have access to your own money while you're alive,
Right.
and your beneficiary have the life benefits, the balance of it. So everybody's happy, right? You have enough money to cover your capital gain, so they can keep your properties, right? Because at time of death, it's a deemed disposition. So your beneficiary are, I was going to say doomed. I don't know French here. They're reliable to pay for the capital gain, right?
Yeah.
So that's, in a nutshell.
Is there a reason why you're starting at 41? Why does it start? at
No, I
50?
just give an example because 40 is like a mid-age
When people
range.
start at 40.
No, I have my plan like that. My son has 3 plans like that, and that's something I'll talk a little bit later. Yeah?
I was going to ask you that you could start earlier.
Yes, the earliest, the better in a sense that it's way cheaper. And I'll show you an example as well for a child. How wow, I wish my parents had did that.
Only, is there an annual maximum?
Nope, not for whole life, no.
Any minimum? Minimum?
No, it will adjust with the life benefits. So the more contribution, my software will calculate the life benefit automatically. Yeah. So the benefits, I think I've mentioned a lot of benefits throughout that illustration, but let me just rephrase. After 20 years, this plan is paid for. There's no more payment after that. So that's, for me personally, I don't like paying for stuff for the rest of my life. It's like a mortgage. You pay for 20 years, 25 years, and then you're done. And that's yours, right? There's no maintenance fees, there's no expenses after that. You are done. It's yours for life. Okay? It's good for estate planning, like I was mentioning, to preserve your assets. Okay? For me, that's very dear to my heart because I know how hard we have to work in order to bring our portfolio up, right? Life insurance proceeds is not taxable to the beneficiary, tax-free. It's rare that we hear tax-free, right? Create a tax-free retirement income if you want to do that with it. You don't need to, but it's there if you want to. It grows tax sheltered as well. It's not taxable. You don't receive a slip at the end of the year saying, well, you got 7% of dividend paid in your policy. You don't get that. It pays dividends for life. And again, I put it there, depends on the company. It depends on the performance of the insurance companies, okay? It's not guaranteed. There is a small portion guaranteed in the product, but again, with history-wise, that's why I do my homework. I look at the dividend scale. Insurance companies, they always make money. They always make money, which is
Are
good.
you dealing with one particular insurance company, or are you as a broker? or
No,
fund?
I'm a broker, so I shop the market, yes. No, I like shopping the market, but I know my preferred carrier because I know their dividend scale level, their reserve fund.
Who is that? Do you mind me asking?
No, don't mind. I like Equitable. It's one of the best, and Empire Life is also very good for whole life participating. Depending on the age, right? You are allowed to borrow up to 90% of the cash value in the policy, no matter what. Even if you are disabled, This is your money. So we don't know what's going to happen down the road, right? God forbid, we hope that we're going to stay healthy. But again, we won't say, well, because you're disabled, we won't give you your cash. Nope. It's, again, it's a very simple form, phone call, and that's it.
Question.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
We're about to go into the children, but are you able to borrow against the children's or just your own?
That's a great question. I'm about to discuss
Okay.
that. That's great. You're reading my mind here. So, more great news. Exactly like you were mentioning, you can build these kinds of plans for children. I do insurance planning, financial planning for children, and I don't know if some of you thought about buying properties, which is great. Buying property for kids is amazing too. Again, here I'm not comparing real estate with whole life participating. I think that both of them are very much complementary. I think it's almost essential to have both of them because one protects the other, right? Or if you have RESP for your children, nothing wrong with RESP. They give $7,200 of grant. However, this is only for education purposes. It's a government mandated program, which means that the government makes the rule. They make the rule, which is okay, but these plans are way more flexible for our children down the road because if you start at 1 year old, let's say, I'll give you an example. For a 1 year old little guy, you can pay $2,500 a year over 20 years, which is a total investment of $50,000. When this child is 67 years old, he'll have over $1 million in assets and cash in the policy. And a lot of you, some of you maybe say, well, $1 million like 67 years down the road, how is it going to be worth? But my philosophy is you pay $50,000 and it's free money for our children. It really is, right? It might not be a lot, it might not be, but this policy for our children can not only be used for education purposes, because at age 22, they can take some cash out if they want to. At age 35, if they come to you and say, Mommy, Daddy, can you help me with a down payment on a house? The good news is that you own this policy until they're mature enough, so you have full control, right? And you can decide if you want to transfer it over or not. And if you're not insurable, your question is, if you're, let's say you're not insurable, yes, you can definitely insure your kids and keep being the owner of it, which means that it's your money at the end of the day. So you can create your retirement plan, I guess, on your children's.
Like your trust.
Like, yeah, exactly. And down the road, if you want to transfer, you can. If you want to keep it, then that's yours. You have full control over the plan, right?
And once you draw the money, it's taxable.
Not necessarily. No, it depends on the ACV. It depends on the adjusted cost basis. But again, if you loan it, it's not taxable.
And it's not capital gains either.
Yep.
You pay the capital gains on the property purchased later.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, my French. I got excited here. The catch. There is a catch. You know, you have to medically get approved for this. So if you do have pre-existing conditions, then it can be tricky. But again, if you have children that are healthy, then again, there's different way we can go around this. And if you do have term insurance right now with a carrier, come talk to me because they may have an option because you have the option contractually to convert a term into a whole life or universal life. Depending on the company again, sometimes they don't have whole life participating. They have whole life non-participating, which is not the strategy here. It has to be participating because the dividend is key. That's what you want. That's how you're going to build your cash and your asset in it. Lastly, one more thing, like Steve Jobs would say, I'm very passionate about, and thank you Todor for giving me the opportunity of talking about Terry Fox because Terry Fox is very dear to my heart. I actually started in the business because one of my friends got diagnosed with breast cancer, and financially it was very challenging. So in 2016, I will be shaving my hair because I want to try to raise $50,000 for Terry Fox. Why Terry Fox? Simple. It's not one cancer. I think all cancer is very important. They all equally suck, if I can say. My apology.
Yep.
To say that way. But I really truly believe deep down in myself that if I can raise that kind of money, for me, I will make a small difference for research. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned something.
Yes.
I hope it was interesting. And again, I've got my business card in the back. If you want to schedule a strategy call, I have a room for 3 calls this week. But you can book a meeting.
I'm
if you
first.
want.
I asked first.
Thank you so much. Thank